how I stay calm as a special ops firefighter. Now, I've been doing firefighting and EMT for almost 4 years now, and I've seen a lot of stuff, been in a crazy ton of situations, crazy ton of scenarios, almost died several times, as well as I'm also on the special operations teams. So right now I'm undergoing rescue diver training to be on the dive team for my department, but I'm already in the Aviation Task Force, confined space, hazmat, rope rescue technician. I'm in a lot of these other classes that put me on these specialized teams to go into these high, stressful, very stressful, rare scenarios, and we have to perform. So I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge base on how to deal with stress. And this video is going to be a full guide on really stress management, how to deal with stress, how to stay calm. Yet again, I've fought, and I'm not trying to sound cool. Like, this is not, I just worked a lot. I've worked a lot. 4 years. I've been at busy stations the entire time. I've had hundreds of house fires. I've been in crazy situations. So I know a good deal about stress. I know a good deal about fear. And I'm going to talk about how to manage that, how to stay calm, because the reality is when you're working anything dangerous, you can't have place for fear. You can't have place for worry. You have to learn how to manage stress. You have to, or else you're not going to be here. I'm 23 right now. But when I turned 18, I went straight to EMT school. So right out of high school, went to EMT school. So I've also been at EMT the entire time too. So for my department, we also have to be EMTs, paramedics. But since from the age of 18, I've worked as an EMT up until now. So I've made plenty of medical calls, codes, GSW, strokes, burns, pregnant, all those runs as well. And that teaches you how to deal with stress. And so in this video, I'm going to break it down. My kind of guide on stress management and how to overcome that, understand it. So, real quick, if you want to learn a lot of the stuff, more of the stuff, I have a course in the description of the video. Click the description, you'll find my course. It's a self-improvement course, really good. Now we're going to get into the video. So, the first thing when you talk about stress management is that you want to be confident in your skill. That's the first thing when you might have anxiety start to pop up, or fear, or stress. You first have to know that you're confident in what you're doing, that you've done it many times. So if you're not, you need to get good at what you're doing by reps. So whatever it is, and this could be anything in life, I want to make this more general and just how to deal with stress, how to deal with fear. You want to be confident in your skills beforehand. A good way to put this, as being a firefighter, people don't understand this, but when we get a house fire and it comes in, not only are we very fast, at my station, and the station I was at for a very long time, once the bell drops and they say house fire, within 30 seconds of the call dropping, we're already on the way, on the street, driving to the house fire, getting fully dressed. And we have to be fully dressed with our, SCBA, face piece, helmet, bunker gear, bunker coat, bunker pants and boots, and Nomex, and be on air, all of that before we even get there. So you're talking about a stressful time, having to put all your stuff on correctly the first time before you get on scene, because as soon as we pull up to the house, I'm getting out, I'm going in, because someone could be in there. So I'm getting out, going in on search rescue immediately. So there is no time to dilly-dally, to get dressed on scene. Like, no, we're getting dressed, and we're dressed by the time we get there, even if it's close. I've gotten dressed at a fire that literally was a couple blocks away from the station, and I've had to get dressed in that fast amount of time. In like 30, 40 seconds, I was dressed, ready to go in, which is very impressive. But I couldn't do that if I was not confident in my skill. I've gotten dressed so many times. That's the only way. Like, if I had not have trained a lot, if I've not had the repetitions to do that, I would not be able to get dressed in a stressful scenario. That's the first thing. If you don't have the fundamental skill set, or like just the sheer reps in what you're trying to do, if you don't have enough reps, you will crumble in under pressure. So if you're talking to girls, or you're doing something like this, maybe EMT, firefighting, whatever, you need to be comfortable in your skills by doing a lot of reps. You need to know that you can do this without thinking. That's the first thing off. You have to get that. Like, yet again, if I've had plenty of runs, one incident we had, it was about almost 2 years ago. We had a call. It was 3 a.m., middle of the night. We were all asleep. The tones dropped. Comes to the radio. Response hack 1, we got a house fire, fully involved, 6 victims trapped. When I heard that, I've never had 6 victims before. That's a lot. That's crazy. But obviously, you better believe that immediate stress started to sink in. All these type of emotions start to set in when you hear that. But yet again, it goes back to being confident. I was still able to do the same thing, get dressed so fast, without even thinking, because I have trained and gotten dressed so many hundreds of times that yet again, didn't matter how I felt or thought, I can get dressed fast and properly to kind of overcome that. So that's the very first thing. If let's say you're trying to use this in like help with like approach anxiety with girls or something like that, then it's the same thing. You have to get repetition. You have to know that when you go up to the girl, you know what you're going to say. You have to have that confidence and like, not confidence in like, oh, I'm brave, confidence in like, you know what you're doing because you've done it so many times. That's what I mean by confidence. You have to know that when I see the person, I know what I'm already going to say, or at least my opener. And then we could talk whatever, but you don't want to necessarily walk in front of them and be stumbled, not know what to say, and freeze. Like I said, you want to be confident, have something that that works, and you've done it so many times to where that in the moment, you won't have to think about it. That's like the first thing off rip. You have to have that base. You have to train it, get reps in, whatever you got to do for whatever your situation is, but get enough reps in to where you can do it without thinking. That's going to help with the first part. The next part, you really have to understand that everyone always says nowadays, fear is a good thing. Fear is a good thing because really it's so cope. They'll say something like fear is a good thing because it warns you so you don't do anything stupid. That's kind of the gist of what they're saying. Reality, they're 100% wrong. Fear does not help you at all. Fear does not help you at all. That's something you need to understand, because when I'm in these stressful environments, we go to a patient pickup, turns out they're not breathing, and that switch turns on, that fear happens, I need to perform. That's the thing. You kind of start to see that when any situation, your main objective is action, is action. That's the biggest thing. When you are hit with stress or fear, you need to be action oriented, right? So when the tone drops into a house fire, I don't need to be thinking and be like stressed out, overthinking, get a panic attack. No, I need to think action. What do I need to do? I need to get dressed. I need to get dressed. I need to be action oriented, because when you're action oriented, it takes you out of your head and those negative thoughts and into your body, into the present, where you actually can do something. So you need to be action oriented and not let the negative thoughts take over. And that's one way to do that, is being action oriented, and also breath work as well. But the point is that negative emotions and feelings are not good. That's not a good thing. The fear is only going to hold you back. Stress is only going to bog you down. And so a lot of this stuff I'm going to talk about is how to overcome that, because those are not good things. Like, those are things you want trying to avoid. When you're talking to a pretty girl and you know she likes you, but you're still nervous, fear is not going to help you. It's going to hold you back. That's something you please understand that. So all this stuff we're going to talk about is how to overcome those things, how to get past it, and, and defeat it in a way, triumphant, So that's the biggest thing you have to understand. So one, obviously, being repetition based, knowing, you got a game plan of, what you're going to do when you first get there, or you have the repetition base, yes, but now two, being action oriented, that knowing that whenever you are feeling that stressful emotion, anxiety, whatnot, you need to have a action, like you need to do something. And the easy thing to do to help combat the stress and the anxiety is focus on your breathing. Everybody says it, take a deep breath, focus on breathing, but it works. Why? Because it's an action. If, let's say, I'm on the truck, we're driving around, going to Walmart, getting something to eat, and then the radio hits. Hey, we got to run house fire, someone's trapped inside. When you hear that, instantly your body goes into fight or flight. I mean, in the beginning at least, it does that. When you get used to it, that's the thing, but it will go instantly fight or flight, of like, oh crap, something's in there, oh my, and then your mind starts to wander. Your mind starts to drift and go crazy on negative emotions. The easiest way to combat that first is to focus on your breathing. What do I mean? People say it all the time, but I'm going to really explain it. Like I said earlier, in stressful anxiety environment, or when your mind starts to go off the rails, go down that negative spiral that it does when you're confronted in a situation, you need to do some action. And the first easy action to do is focus on your breathing. As in, when I have that fear or that negative emotion, I stop and I am quite literally thinking about my breathing, and I'm taking a very big, deep breath. What that does, it's action that brings you back to your body, back to the present, away from your negative looping thoughts. That's why it's so important. So you don't have to do, you can do in through the nose or just in through the mouth. Doesn't matter. But the point is, taking a couple of deep breaths, focusing on your breathing, is going to help you come out of your negative state of mind into your body to where now you can start thinking of an action plan, what to do. That's by far the whole point of the beginning phase, is that you need to disregard the negative emotions and go into relax, game plan. What's the action plan? So if I'm on scene and let's say it is a shooting we're going to and the guy shot up, or it's a kid that shot up, I need to be, okay, relax. Okay, Ben, what's the game plan? Thinking of the action plan, the game plan, what to do is going to occupy your mind with something you could do rather than dwell on the negative thoughts. That's the big thing I want you to understand, that the whole point of a lot of this is that you're trying to shift your mind from the negative, because your brain naturally is going to go down a negative spiral. And the whole point of all this is to avoid that. Don't do that. You don't want to go down a negative spiral. You don't want to start drifting with those negative habits, those negative thoughts, because when you do, that's when things start to get worse. That's a very big thing. So a lot of this is to combat that. An easier way, obviously, focus on your breathing and then think of the action plan. What can I do? What can I do? Right? So if I'm talking to a girl, and yet again, I had the repetition, so I know I'm going to say when I go to her, no matter how afraid I am, because I've practiced, like we just talked about, I know I'm going to open with whatever. When I go and I open, now, let's say it doesn't land well and I'm nervous, rather than think of the nerves, oh my goodness, what you thinking? I need to think, okay, game plan, as an action. What can I do next? I need to be thinking of an actionable step to take in that moment. That is going to shift my brain from the worry negative to the what could I do to get out of the situation. That's going to help yourself to really just think of the game plan, action plan, what's the next step. That's very important. I mean, that's why it's important to get reps in like whatever you're trying to do. If you are like nervous at something, it is good to slightly push yourself to get more comfortable with it, because you want to really get enough reps in it to where when you are in that situation, your default reaction is to think of the next step, what to do, action plan, rather than to drift on the negative spiral that's going to happen. That's why like it helps fighting fire so much. You do just get into the habit, the routine, that you're not afraid of it anymore. You know it's not going to help you. And so the routine is get dressed, bam, get dressed. Get on scene, okay, pull the line and go in. Okay, right hand search pattern. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm not thinking of the fire or the threat or the what could happen. Oh, I could go through I could fall through the floor. I could die. I'm not thinking of any of that. I'm thinking of what to do. That, in a way, it detaches you from the situation. That's really what you want to do. You don't want to be thinking of all the negative stuff. You want to be thinking of what to do. What's the game plan? If I'm on scene and EMS and it's something like stressful, something traumatic, that I don't need to be thinking of, oh, go down the negative spiral path, the negative, oh, whatever, they're going to die. I need to think, what do I need to do? What can I do right now? Like, what is the next step I can take physically? What action do I need to do right now? That's what your mind, you should train your brain to think like that in those times, and that's going to help you get through it. And then once you start doing stuff, now you become less nervous because you're not feeding the negativity. You're actually doing something, and then that breeds more positive, actionable steps, and you get momentum. That's like super, super important for a lot of this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that's the biggest part of this part of the video, is to really just focus on the actionable step you can take. Don't focus on negative at all. Ignore the negative. Just think about what can you do? What is happening? What can you do? What is happening? What can you do? Action. What can I do? What can I do? One of the most stressful times that I've had on the job, it was a very hard drill we did in the academy. It's called the RIT room. It's like a very famous firefighter drill that makes firefighters panic, that they give up, they quit right there, they quit, and it's terrible. And the RIT room pretty much is designed to do a scenario where you're a firefighter, but you're trapped and you're lost, and how to get out of that scenario. It's a literal worst case scenario. And it's a very stressful, hard test to see, are you going to panic and freak out under this pressure? To show that if you're going to freak out here, oh, you definitely can't go out there then. If you're going to freak out in here in this training, even though the training's hard, if you're going to, you can quit here, you can't quit out there. I can't quit when I'm actually in the house fire trying to get somebody, or trying to get my partner. So it's trying to see, how people can say they're tough, people can say they're whatever, but until you're really in a situation like that, you don't know. So for our fire academy, it was pretty much like this. You're in full firefighter gear, everything on air, and they have like a room set up, but the room's completely dark, so you can't see anything. But the room is pretty much like a obstacle maze, pretty much like a big maze that's very, very, very tight. Like, I couldn't see obviously, but it's a maze with different obstacles and stuff, but it's all simulated where you have to be crawling, because like as a firefighter, you learn when you're doing search and rescue and stuff, you want to crawl a lot of the times on your hands and knees. And so a lot of the stuff is like just very tight. The whole maze stuff is very tight, where you're just kind of squished and you can't really move much. You're just trying to like wiggle your way through, but you can't see, and you're following like a little hose line. And through that whole process of you trying to follow the hose line and doing stuff, the training officers are shutting off your air, so you gotta hold your breath and turn it back on. You're getting caught up in stuff, so you gotta like you have to like feel what you're caught in, and get yourself caught. And you're doing all this before you run out of air, because once you run out of air, that's it. And normally they don't do smoke in the RIT room, but there's a thing called the smoke maze, which that's like the similar thing like RIT room, but it's actual real smoke. So like now you're doing all this stuff, you're on air, and your goal is to not run out, because you run out, that's it, But the training, that drill was like just the most stressful environment I've ever been in. Or at least one of them. I won't say at least one of the most stressful. As in, like, I'm in there in the dark, I can't see. I'm going through like the tightest spaces imaginable in full gear, but I can't see, so I'm going like this, and I'm squeezing through with a partner behind me. They have speakers in there that are dialed up to 11, playing heavy rock music, so you can't hear anything. It's just heavy rock music, blaring, so you can't really talk to your partner, so you really can't hear, you can't see anything at all, and you're trying to navigate and feel your way through this while on air, trying not to run out of air. And in that moment, yet again, especially that was when I was new, it was just very stressful. And a lot of guys in our class panicked, gave up, quit. Like, they panicked. No, I can't. Like, it just panicked, and I don't blame them, because it is very stressful. And it is very stressful. All the girls in our class panicked and quit. Like, they panicked the first time they did it immediately. Like, it was just bad. And I don't blame them, because it is hard. It is hard. But when I did it, I focused, yet again. I knew it was stressful, it was hard, but I knew to not go down that negative path and to think of action. What do I need to do? Okay, I need to feel, okay, I need to keep going straight. I need to keep going straight. Okay, I'm thinking of action, and that action-oriented mindset helped me to stay focused and not to spiral. I'm kind of, the whole point of all this, kind of, you want to train your focus to be more concentrated when you need to be, to not entertain the negative thoughts and to start spiraling. And thankfully, me and my partner were one of the only guys that passed our first time, thankfully. And you only had 2 attempts to do it. And so we passed our first try and we're done. I was like, thank God, because I did not want to do that again. But it worked, just being able to focus on my breathing, think of what's the next step. What's the next step? And it's a skill, it's a muscle. You have to train that. Like I'm telling you guys right now, but you have to actually train this and do it many times for you to actually be good at this skill, because it's a skill. I use the same very stuff in dive school. So I'm doing the dive training to be a rescue and recovery diver for my team, and it's hard. That's why I said the root room is hard, but like this stuff is also very, very hard too. The water is a totally different beast. I mean, especially when you talk about swimming, treading water with no hands and all that stuff, and then diving, it is a lot. It is very stressful. It's very stressful. The water is just naturally stressful. It's something about it. And it's somewhat so hard that if I finish the whole training, then I'll be the second black guy on my department ever to be a diver on our dive team. That's how hard it is. I'll be the second black guy, and our department has been around since the 1800s. So that's obviously motivation to do it and to keep going and finish it. But it is very stressful, and I use the same exact steps I'm telling you. That one of the first times I was actually on the full get up gear and did my first dive in a lake. When you're in water and it was cold, it's very cold. When you're in cold water, your instant reaction is to freeze and hold your breath. But like I said earlier, you want to breathe, right? So that was actually one of the first times I almost panicked. I really almost had a full-blown panic attack, but I caught myself because I had it. Because if I didn't, I was gonna die. I had to catch myself. It was very stressful. Pretty much, I was my first set of dives in a lake. So it was you can't really see much, but it's in a lake, and it was very cold that day. And like I said, when I hit the water and we started going down and descending, that cold water hit, and the reaction is to freeze, is to clench, is and to hold your breath. And once you stop breathing, you freeze. That's when the mind starts to, oh crap, we're gonna, and the mind starts saying some crazy stuff, and I almost started to panic. And then I remembered, breathe. And that first breath I did like that, I was like, that first breath I did really helped clear my mind. I'm gonna kid you not, that saved me. And then I got to kind of relax a little bit, focus. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to do this, I need to do that. Okay. And then I did everything and I ended up passing. That is so serious. Finding ways to not go down that negative spiral and to be able to breathe, to focus, what do I need to do? That is if you can do that off rip, you will manage stress. And the only thing now is for you is finding out, what are you specifically trying to do? What are you specifically trying to learn this for? Because each set of skills is different, but the principle is the same of not going down that negative spiral, breathe, focus on your breathing, action, focus, action plan. That's going to get you a long ways. So if you like this video, like it and subscribe. And if you want to learn more stuff like this, more in-depth stuff, then go in the description of this video for my full self-improvement course. And let me know if you have any comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, stay safe, and keep training.